Hello, Magic English 8 here. I hope you're doing great and hope that you're developing your English proficiency by watching my video clips. Today I am with you with another unit of Yellow Interchange, good for your speaking. So, just a little enlarge it, yeah. The unit that we are talking about is Unit 9, entitled I Always Eat Breakfast. In here. I always eat breakfast. So in this unit, we are mainly focusing on food and healthy nutrition. Okay, let's just take a look at the main areas covered in this unit. We are talking about food, the things that you like and dislike. Talking about your opinions about healthy and unhealthy foods. Talking about foods that you have and foods that you need in our grammar part. And describing eating habits, what you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And under grammar, we talk about count nouns and non-count nouns, a very important topic, and also some and any. We also talk about frequency adverbs or adverbs of frequency, always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, and never. Okay? Word power, foods. Let's listen to this part which pronounces these words for us. But before I play that for you, would you like to have a practice for yourself? Read these words and see if you're pronouncing them correctly or not. So you see here we have a food pie chart in different categories. The big category is fruit and vegetables, grains, meat and other proteins, dairy, fats and oils. This word is dairy. Please don't confuse it with diary. Where was that? This one is dairy. Diary is also a close word to that, and that is the notebook of your memories. Notebook of your memories. That is called diary, but this one is dairy, milk-related products. So, under the category of food and vegetable, fruit and vegetables, let me...
Unit 9. I always eat breakfast. Page 58. Exercise 1. Word power. Foods. Part A. Listen and practice.
If you want to check your pronunciation first before I play, you read and then see how many of the words you pronounced correctly. Okay? And now I am playing.
Good food for good health.
For good health, eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, and grains. Eat some dairy,
It's reading here.
meat, and other protein. Eat healthy fats and oils.
Fruit and vegetables. Apples. Lemons. Bananas. Kiwis. Blueberries. Oranges. Tomatoes. Lettuce. Onions. Carrots. Broccoli. Potatoes.
Okay, so fruits and vegetables. How many of them did you get right? Good. Please repeat after me. Apples, lemons, bananas, kiwis, blueberries, oranges, onions, broccoli, tomatoes, lettuce, carrots, and potatoes. Okay? Are you good? So here, our question could be favorite and fruit. Could you please ask me about favorite and fruit? Your question should be something like unscrambling these words. So your question will be, what is your favorite fruit? What's your favorite fruit? And what is your answer to this question? Pause the video and give your answer. My answer to this will be, I like most of the fruits. Especially my top favorites are bananas, apples, oranges, and grapes. So you can also give an answer like that. Or another question about vegetable. Please ask me, how often and eat vegetables? Please ask me a question like that. How often do you eat, very good, vegetables? How often do you eat vegetables? Or how much do you eat vegetables? Please pause the video, give your answer. My answer, I often have vegetables with my meals, especially at lunch and dinner. At dinner, I always have a salad, including lettuce, carrots, broccoli, and some other veggies. But with lunch, sometimes I have some vegetables, depending on the food I have. Depending on. Okay? Baste be. Persian translation. Okay, so this is under the category of fruit and vegetables. Let's go to the second one.
Grains.
Grains. Please repeat with it.
Rice.
Rice.
Noodles.
Noodles.
Bread.
Bread.
Cereal.
Cereal.
Crackers.
Crackers.
Pasta.
Pasta. Okay, so these are the words under the category of grains. Rice, noodles, bread, crackers, cereal, and pasta. Okay, so again, you can ask questions about, for example, rice and how much or how often. How often? Good. How often do you eat rice? What is your answer? Pause the video and give your answer. My answer is this. Because of our Iranian cuisine, which is mostly based on bread and rice, I often have rice maybe 3 times or 4 times a week. What about bread? How often do you have bread? I often have bread at my breakfast, with lunch sometimes, depending on the lunch, and for dinner, I rarely or I hardly ever have bread. So this is how you can give your answers in order to master your speaking. You can also give answers to other questions. For example, how often do you have pasta? Do you like noodles or not? And all of the questions like this, okay? The other category, please.
Meat and other proteins.
Meat and other proteins. Please repeat.
Nuts.
Nuts.
Chicken.
Chicken.
Eggs.
Eggs.
Fish.
Fish.
Beans.
Beans.
Beef.
Beef. Okay? So, this is the category of meat and other proteins. Nuts, chicken, eggs, fish, beans, and beef. So again, the question, for example, question for fish. Ask me how often and fish. Very good. So, How often do you have fish? How often do you eat fish? Pause the video, give your own answer. My answer, I often have fish probably once in 2 weeks or every other week. Every other week. I often have fish every other week, which means this week yes, next week no, the week after yes, and so on. And question, for example, for eggs. Do you like eggs? Oh, yes, I do. I usually have eggs twice a week for breakfast, and sometimes in my other meals, eggs also come. So eggs are an important part of my diet. This is an answer to these questions. You can have with other words the same questions. Next category, please.
Dairy.
Dairy, please repeat.
Milk.
Milk.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Yogurt.
Yogurt. Milk. Cheese. Yogurt. So ask me like and dairy. Like and dairy. What do you say? Do you like dairy? Yes, I do. I like dairy and I especially like milk and yogurt. I usually have milk with my breakfast every day. And as for yogurt, as for something means an about and related to. And as for yogurt, I usually have yogurt maybe 2 to 3 times a week with my lunch. Okay? And the last category, please.
Fats and oils.
Fats and oils.
Butter.
Butter.
Oil.
Oil.
Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
Cream.
Cream. So fats and oils, butter, oil, mayonnaise, and cream. So again, ask me, like and for example, butter. Good. Do you like butter? I don't like butter that much because it's really fatty, but sometimes for breakfast I have it with honey. And in some other food like mashed potatoes, I use it. You can give the same responses for developing your speaking, or you can ask about other things. For example, how often do you have mayonnaise? Mayonnaise, I don't like it at all. I never have mayonnaise. On my salad, I usually have some lime juice. Okay? So this is the story of word power, food, good food for good health, and we talked about all the categories. Now, the things that you like, again, you can pause the video and talk about the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and nothing else here. Okay? So, do I have anything else in this? Yeah, healthy food, unhealthy food that we talked about. For example, healthy food is vegetables, fruits, and meat and proteins. Unhealthy food is oil and fats and sugar, of course. Okay? Exercise 2 and conversation. Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes. Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes. Please look at the picture and tell me what you see. What do you see in this picture? A sample response to that could be, I see a girl and a boy, and it looks like they are shopping at a grocery store. What do you see in the picture? What are they buying? The answer? I guess they are buying some forms of vegetable, probably some lettuce and some other things. Okay? So this is your speaking for this picture. Good. Now let's listen to the conversation, but I want you not to look at the conversation, focusing on this question. What food do they need? Because they're shopping, yeah? What food do they need? Please just list the items of the food they need, okay? Let's listen to that.
Page 59. Exercise 2. Conversation. Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes. Listen and practice.
Do we need any lettuce for the sandwiches?
Good idea. Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes.
Do we have any bread?
No, we need some. And we don't have any cheese.
Let's get some cheese then. And some chicken too.
We have some chicken at home.
Oh, all right. How about some potato salad?
Sure. I love potato salad.
Great. Let's buy some.
So your answer, what do they need? Good. They need some lettuce, some cheese, and potato salad, yeah? Okay, very good. Let's listen to the conversation one more time.
And practice.
Do we need any lettuce for the sandwiches?
Good idea. Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes.
So this is one of the items they need, yeah? Lettuce and tomatoes.
Do we have any bread?
No, we need some.
So also bread.
And we don't have any cheese.
Let's get some cheese then. And some chicken too.
We have some chicken at home.
Oh, all right. How about some potato salad?
Sure. I love potato salad.
Great. Let's buy some.
Okay, very good. So this is how you improve your listening, by not looking at the conversation and focusing on a specific question. One more time, let's listen. Please repeat with me.
And practice.
Do we need any lettuce for the sandwiches?
Do we need any lettuce for the sandwiches?
Good idea.
Good idea.
Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes.
Let's get some lettuce and some tomatoes.
Do we have any bread?
Do we have any bread?
No, we need some.
No, we need some.
And we don't have any cheese.
And we don't have any cheese.
Let's get some cheese then.
Let's get some cheese then.
And some chicken too.
And some chicken too.
We have some chicken at home.
Oh,
We have some chicken at home.
all right.
All right.
How about some potato salad?
How about some potato salad?
Sure. I love potato salad.
Sure. I love potato salad.
Great. Let's buy some.
Great. Let's buy some. Very good. Very good. And by this time, I guess you know about this conversation and what is happening. But we need to work on some words and also on some grammar. Do we need any lettuce? The pronunciation is lettuce. Do we need any lettuce for the sandwiches? Sandwiches? Good idea. Let's get some. Get here means buy. Let's buy some lettuce. And some tomatoes. Tomatoes pronunciation. Do we have any bread? No, we need some. We need some bread. And we don't have any cheese. We don't have any cheese. Let's get some cheese then. Then means so. So let's get some cheese. And some chicken too. And we have some chicken at home. We have some chicken at home. All right. How about some potato salad? How about some potato salad? I love potato salad. Let's buy some. So let's buy some. Let's get some. Get here means buy. So we have some chicken at home. Could you make a question out of it? A yes-no question. We have some chicken at home. What is the yes-no question for that? We have some chicken at home. What is the yes no question for that? If there is am, is, or, put it in the beginning. Otherwise, do or does. Do we or do you have any chicken at home? And what is the negative for that? We. Very good. We don't have. We don't have. It's better to use any in negative and in questions, and some in affirmative or in positive sentences. I will talk about that in the grammar part. And I love potato salad. Yes, no question. Do you love potato salad? And negative, I don't love potato salad. Very good. So this is the story of this in this conversation. Now, for extra speaking, I ask you, for example, about potato salad. Please ask me, you like and potato salad. The question? Good. Do you like potato salad? Do you like potato salad? Your answer? Yes, I do. I like potato salad, especially for dinner, because it is something going with my taste. There is potato, there is chicken in it, and I like both of them. And also it is healthy. So this is one sample response. Or, no. Do you like potato salad? No, I don't like potato salad because I think it is fattening for me. Fattening means makes me fat. It is fattening for me, so I try not to have it very much, or I try to stay clear of it. Okay? Fattening. This was the conversation and the speaking that we had out of it. So if you're good, we move to exercise 3, grammar focus. Okay? Exercise 3 and grammar focus. Count and non-count nouns. A very important topic in English grammar. So basically nouns are in one category, count or non-count, or count and countable and uncountable. Here I provide you some examples of count nouns like all the fruits, or at least most of the fruits, if they are whole. For example, an apple, a banana, 2 oranges, a melon. But if you cut it, then the melon is non-count. If you slice the banana, then that is non-count, or at least you can say a slice of banana, which again you are counting slice. Car, motorcycle, airplane, ship, all of them count. Books, notebooks, pens, papers, bags, man, men, woman, women, child, children, all of them are count nouns. And here are some non-count nouns like sugar, rice, coffee, tea, air, water, juice, pollution, non-count, furniture. You gotta memorize that furniture in English is a non-count noun. And jewelry, again, non-count noun. So, a part of that is understandable and the other part is you got to memorize. So, for count nouns, I can say 1 egg, 2 eggs, an egg, 5 eggs, a potato, some potatoes, all of that. But for non-count nouns, no. Bread, lettuce, I cannot go a bread or a lettuce. No, that is non-count. Okay? Any and some. Generally, we use some in positive sentences and any in negatives and questions. Some in positive sentences, any in negatives and questions. This is a general statement that I am telling you. Do we need any potatoes? Yes, we need some. Or let's get some. No, we don't need any. Do we need any lettuce? Yes, let's get some. No, we don't need any. And tell you something, some and any can be used in both count and non-count nouns. For both of them, we can use them all. Okay, you got it? Part A, complete the conversation with some or any. Oh, they don't have any potato salad. But we have lots of potatoes at home. Let's make some. Great. Do we have any mayonnaise? No. We need to buy some. And we need some onions. Oh no, I don't want any onions in the salad. Okay, don't worry. Let's get some celery then. Let's get some celery then. No, I don't want any celery. I have an idea. Let's put some apples in it. Are you serious? Apples in potato salad? Well, okay. Surprised the person is. So here we just had one new word probably, and that is celery. Yeah? Celery. Is there any picture of celery here? Celery. The picture is not that clear, so this is called celery. Yeah? Celery. Very good and healthy. So this is the story of some and any. Here also I have prepared some extra examples for you with some or any. You please choose some or any for the blanks. I have good some apples. I have some apples in the basket for our snack. I don't have, it is negative, so it is any. Any carrots, so I'll need to buy. It is a question, so better is any. Do you have any favorite fruits or vegetables? Oh, here I missed something. I'll need to buy. This part of that is affirmative or positive, so some. She bought good some bananas. Some bananas and oranges at the grocery store. The chef added good some delicious spices to the soup. Is there question, so it is any. Is there any sugar in the pantry for baking? I can't find negative, so any. Any onions for the recipe, the instruction of cooking. We need to buy positive, so some lettuce for the sandwiches. Do we question, so it is any. Any grapes left in the fridge or refrigerator? And is there question, so it must be any. Any milk in the fridge for my cereal. You got it? So that is the story of some and any. And one more time, I remind you, they can both be used for count nouns, for non-count nouns. Now here, part B says, complete the chart, the count nouns and the non-count nouns from the previous page. So most of the fruits I say are count nouns. Apples, blueberries, lemons, bananas, oranges, kiwis. All of these are count. Tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, all of them are count. The non-count parts here are lettuce and broccoli. In the grains part, looks like all of them are count except for crackers, non-count. Rice, noodles, bread, cereal, pasta, all of them are non-count. Crackers are count. Here, beans count, nuts count, eggs count, and the rest of them non-count if they are cut. But for example, we can have fish if it is whole. We can have chicken if it is whole, count. But this is non-count, this is non-count, this is non-count in this shape. Yogurt, Non-count cheese, non-count milk, non-count. And all of these guys here are non-count. Okay, so even if you're counting the unit. For example, you say a stick of butter. You don't say a butter, a stick of butter. You're counting the stick, not the butter. Okay? Exercise 4, pronunciation, sentence stress. In any sentence, because of the rise and fall of your speaking, some words carry more stress and some words carry less stress. The main words of the sentence have more stress. For example, in this sentence says, do we need any beans? The most important word in this sentence is beans, so that carries the biggest stress. Do we need any rice? Do we need any beans? Yes, we need some beans. So these two words carry more stress, and here, no, we don't need any rice. So basically this is not very difficult. I prefer not to spend that much time on it. Exercise 5 and our delicious exercise, breakfast from around the world, or breakfast around the world. Here we got 3 breakfasts from 3 different regions in the world: the United States, Japan, and Costa Rica. Okay, let's listen. We have a lot to talk about.
Page 59. Exercise. Page 60. Page 60. Exercise 5. Snapshot. Listen and practice. Breakfast around the world. The United States.
Cereal with milk. Fresh fruit. Orange juice. Coffee. Pastries.
Okay, so that is an American breakfast. Cereal with milk, fresh fruit, orange juice, coffee, and pastries. Maybe the new word for you is pastries. And that is pastries, yeah? The sweet things that you usually have with coffee, tea, or something. Pastry. That is an American breakfast. Is it similar to your breakfast? Please pause the video and give your answer. My answer? It's not 100% similar to my breakfast because we usually don't have cereal with milk for breakfast. As for fresh fruit, usually in the summer our breakfast come with fresh fruit and orange juice sometimes coffee. Mostly our breakfast include tea, not coffee. And pastry, no, that is not a part of our breakfast. Mainly our breakfast consists of milk, honey, cheese, walnut. So these are the bulk of our breakfast. Okay, so this is the American breakfast. Now, what about the Japanese one?
Japan.
Fish. Rice. Soup. Pickles. Green tea.
Okay, the Japanese breakfast: fish, rice, soup, pickles, and green tea. What about pickles? Do you know them? That is pickles. Pickles. So pickles are basically sour in taste. Pickles are sour. Oh, this is not from here. Sour. There are at least 4 major tastes. Major tastes are sour, salty, sweet, and maybe bitter. Yeah, these are the major tastes. So pickles are sour in taste. And what about the Costa Rican ones? So one question, is your breakfast similar to the Japanese breakfast? No way. No way is it going to be similar to our breakfast. It is a lunch for us because it's so substantial. We never have fish for breakfast. We never have rice for breakfast. We never have pickles on an empty stomach. Yes, Costa Rican.
Costa Rica.
Rice and beans. Eggs. Red peppers. Bananas. Coffee with milk.
Okay, in Costa Rica, rice and beans, eggs, red peppers, bananas, and coffee with milk. Is it similar to your breakfast? You might say yes, you might say no with your sample responses. Okay? So my question is this. What do you eat for breakfast? Please give me your answer. What do you eat for breakfast? Pause the video and give your answer. And my sample response, for breakfast, I eat cereal and milk. It's yummy. I like crunchy cereals with sweet flavor. Flavor means taste. And crunchy means it is not soft. It easily breaks. Crunchy. Milk makes it creamy. I eat it every morning. What about you? What do you eat for breakfast? So, not a bad idea when you speak, you ask your partner, what about you? This was a sample response for the breakfast part. Now, I hope you got it, and I hope that you had the chance to have good speaking in this part. If no problem, we move. Exercise 6, conversation. We always have green tea. Please look at this picture. Don't read the conversation. Tell me what you see in the picture. Where do you think these people are from? Pause the video and give your answers. Okay, and what are they eating? Good. So a sample response to that could be, I think they are Japanese because of the chopsticks they are holding. And I see a family. Looks like, based on the light in the picture, looks like it is a breakfast. So it's a mother, a father, their son, and probably a grandmother at a breakfast table. They are eating together. Something like this could be an answer to this question. So, please, let's listen to the conversation. So I have questions for you. Please don't read the conversation, but answer these questions while you're listening. What does Kato eat for breakfast? And what does she drink for breakfast? What does she eat? What does she drink? Kato is the Japanese girl. Okay, let's listen.
Page 61. Exercise 6. Conversation. We always have green tea. Listen and practice.
What is a typical Japanese breakfast, Kaito?
Well, we usually have fish, rice, and soup.
Fish for breakfast? That's interesting.
Oh, it's really good. Sometimes we have a salad too, but we never have coffee.
Really? What do you have?
We always have green tea.
I love green tea.
Listen, my family usually has a Japanese-style breakfast on weekends. Why don't you come to my house on Sunday?
That's very nice of you. Thanks.
Okay, so what does he have for breakfast? Fish, rice, soup, and sometimes a salad. What does he? That was a he. Drink for breakfast? Green tea. Exactly. Okay. So, let's listen to the conversation one more time.
Practice.
What is a typical Japanese breakfast, Kaito?
Well, we usually have fish, rice, and soup.
Fish for breakfast? That's interesting.
Oh, it's really good. Sometimes we have a salad too, but we never have coffee.
Okay.
Really? What do you have?
We always have green tea.
I love green tea.
Listen, my family usually has a Japanese-style breakfast on weekends. Why don't you come to my house on Sunday?
That's very nice of you. Thanks.
Okay, so now you understood what the conversation is about. For the third time, let's listen. This time, please repeat with me, okay?
What is a tip?
Listen and practice.
Please repeat.
What is a typical Japanese breakfast, Kaito?
What is a typical Japanese breakfast, Kaito? Typical Japanese breakfast. Typical Japanese breakfast. If a chunk is long, repeat it several times. And please repeat out loud.
Well, we usually have fish, rice, and soup.
Well, we usually have fish, rice, and soup.
Fish for breakfast?
Fish for breakfast?
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Oh, it's really good. Sometimes
Oh, it's really good.
we have a salad too,
Sometimes we have a salad too,
but we never have coffee.
but we never have coffee.
Really? What do you have?
Really? What do you have?
We always have green tea.
We always have green tea.
I love green tea.
I love green tea.
Listen, my family usually has a Japanese-style breakfast on weekends.
Listen, my family usually has a Japanese style breakfast on weekends.
Why don't you come to my house on Sunday?
Why don't you come to my house on Sunday?
That's very nice of you.
That's very nice of you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Okay. So regarding the pronunciation, right now we are good. Just let's see some words if it has. Typical. Typical means usual, ordinary, normal. What is a usual Japanese breakfast? We usually have fish, rice, and soup. Fish for breakfast. That's interesting. Interesting. Opposite of boring. It's really good. Sometimes we have a salad too, but we never have coffee. What do you have? We always have green tea. I love green tea. Listen, my family usually has a Japanese style. You see, it is not Japanese style breakfast. Japanese style. Japanese style breakfast on weekends. On weekends. Days of the week? On. Why don't you come? Why don't you come for invitation? Why don't you come to my house on Sunday? On and uppercase S. That's very nice of you. That's nice of you. Thank you. So it's a very beautiful response to thank someone. That's nice of you. And just one question. What is the difference between eat and have? Eat and have. What is eat? What is have? Through one example, I'll let you know about it. I usually eat bread, cheese, and walnut for breakfast. Or you could go, I usually have bread, cheese, walnut, and tea for breakfast. So what's the difference? The difference is that have can be used for solid and liquid, but eat can be only used for solid. It means have is a combination of eat and drink. For everything you can say have. I have tea, I have cake, I have coffee, I have walnut, I have almonds, I have bananas. But eat, you cannot say I eat coffee. I drink coffee. Have is a safe word talking about everything you want to eat. It can be used for everything. So that was the difference between eat and have. Nothing else here. Just one more time for the sake of grammar practice. And we usually have fish, rice, and soup. Would you please ask a yes/no question for it? We usually have. Do you usually have fish, rice, and soup? And then what? What do you usually have? So, do you usually have these? What do you usually have? Very good. Fish for breakfast. That's interesting. Question for it. That's interesting. Is that? Because of is that interesting? It's really good. Sometimes we have a salad. Sometimes we have a salad. Yes, no. Do you sometimes have a salad? Very good. And then, how often? How often do you have a salad? Good. We never have coffee. What do you have? We always have green tea. Yes, no. Yes, no means you should ask a question whose answer is either yes or no. Do you always have green tea? Yes. Do you always have green tea? No. So that is the yes, no for it. And what? What do you always have? What do you always have? Very good. I love green tea. Yes, no. Do you love green tea? And my family usually has a Japanese style. Yes, no. Does your family usually have a Japanese style breakfast on Sundays, on weekends? And then when does your family have a Japanese style breakfast? On weekends. And then why don't you come to my house Sunday? That's nice of you. Thanks. Okay. So this was our conversation about the Japanese family, what they have and what they drink for their breakfast. We talked about the words, we talked about the grammar in it. I hope there is no problem here for you. Now, as follow-up question, I could ask you, for example, do you like to have fish, rice, and soup for breakfast? And then pause the video and answer, please. A sample answer to that could be, no, I don't like to have fish and rice for breakfast because that is too much for me as a breakfast. I prefer to have it for lunch. Or another response, yes, I do. I like to have fish and rice for breakfast. I think it is big enough. It gives me a lot of energy and I can have enough energy for the rest of my day at work. Okay? So I'm asking you all these questions in the hopes that you cooperate and your speaking gets better and better. Okay? If you are not tired, my friends, let's go to exercise 7, conversation. Frequency adverbs. Frequency adverbs tell you how often something happens, and they are always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, and never. It is usually, my friends. Usually, like googly. Usually, googly. So please don't say usually. Usually. Always, usually, often, sometimes, hardly ever, and never. Very good. Where do they go? Where do they go? They go before your main verb. They go after the to be. They go before the main verb. So what do I mean? Frequency adverbs. And I usually have tea in the evening. This is your main verb, so usually goes before that. But if it is a to be verb, am, is, or, was, were, it goes after the to be verb. So I am usually at home around 8. I am usually going after that. I usually drive, I usually study, I usually sleep, I usually go, come, walk, all of them. The frequency adverb goes before the verb, okay? And regarding the percentage, always feels like 100%, never 0%. So usually is 90%, 85 or something. Frequently, which our book doesn't have, often is more than 50 and sometimes 50 or even less than 50. Occasionally that our book didn't have, seldom 10%, hardly ever again is here, hardly ever or rarely is 5%, and never, which is 0%. Okay. Regarding the position of them, I told you that they go before the main verb. I always eat breakfast. So the question for that, do you always eat breakfast? I usually eat breakfast. I often eat breakfast. So if you want to put a he instead of this, it will become he always eats. She always eats. We always eat. They always eat. So that is the substitution drill for this part. And the questions, usually in the questions, instead of the frequency adverbs, we bring ever. But you can also bring the frequency adverbs as well. Do you ever have fish for breakfast? Do you ever have fish for breakfast? Yes, I always do. I sometimes do, or sometimes I do, and no, I never do. Okay? You got it? This is the frequency adverbs, this is the questions for them, and this is the percentage. I hope you're good here. If no problem, we move to part A. Put the frequency adverb where you should. Do you usually have a big breakfast? Yes, I do. Well, on Sundays, I always have a big breakfast with my friends. Do you ever eat breakfast at work on weekdays? Yes, I sometimes have breakfast at the office restaurant. Do you often eat breakfast at your desk? At your desk, like this desk that I am sitting at your desk. And no, I hardly ever have breakfast at my desk. Okay, so this was the exercise we took care of. Part B, unscramble. Unscramble means put these words in order. I have hardly ever beef for lunch. I hardly ever have beef for lunch. When I watch TV, I snacks eat never. I never eat snacks when I watch TV. Good. Which one? I sometimes eat eggs for breakfast. I sometimes eat eggs for breakfast. I, number 4, usually have dinner with I usually have dinner with my family. Okay. So we talked about adverbs of frequency or frequency adverbs, and here I have provided some examples, some extra examples for you. Let's see what they are. I always eat breakfast in the morning. Okay. She sometimes goes to the park on weekdays. We usually play games on weekends. They sometimes visit their grandparents. He never forgets his homework. Good boy. I often walk to school with my friends. Good. Do you always brush your teeth before bed? They hardly ever watch TV during the week. Good. If they spare the time on reading something. I never go to bed early. It is the story of all of us. And She always helps her classmates with their homework. Good. So help someone with something. This is important. Help someone with something. He never misses a soccer practice. Miss means not go. He never misses a soccer practice. It means he always makes it. He always goes to his soccer practice. Do you often visit the library? Okay, so these were some other examples with adverbs of frequency. I hope you got them really well. If no problem, we move to the listening. Carrots are my favorite. Okay, let's see what this conversation is about.
Page 62. Exercise 8. Listening. Carrots are my favorite. Part A. Devon and Victoria are talking about food. How often does Victoria eat these foods? Listen and check often, sometimes, or never.
So our talk is centered on the girl, Victoria. Okay, maybe both of them talk about these things, but the question is asking about Victoria. Often, sometimes, or never. See?
So, what looks good, Victoria?
I don't know yet.
Well, the soup is really good. Do you like noodles?
Oh, yeah. I often eat noodles for lunch. I just don't want them tonight.
Okay. Well, the chicken is great here. How about that?
Oh, no. I never eat chicken. I don't like meat.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes I have fish or eggs, but I never eat chicken or beef.
So, do you eat a lot of vegetables?
Yes. Carrots are my favorite. I often have some in the afternoon for a snack.
Okay, so probably she's a vegetarian. She didn't like chicken or meat. So could you get them right? For chicken, the answer is never. For fish, sometimes. For eggs, sometimes. And for carrots, often. So as your speaking practice, you can pause the video here and give a summary on her talk. Something like this. She likes noodles, but she doesn't like to have them tonight. As for chicken, she never has chicken or any other sort of meat. She sometimes has fish and eggs, but her favorites are carrots. She often has carrots. This is how you can improve your speaking by this listening part. One more time, let's listen to it for the sake of words and things in it.
Listen and...
So, what looks good, Victoria?
I don't know yet.
Well, the soup is really good.
The soup is really good.
Do you like noodles?
Oh, yeah. I often eat noodles for lunch.
I often eat noodles for lunch.
I just don't want them tonight.
Okay. Well, the chicken is great here. How about that?
Oh, no. I never eat chicken.
I never eat chicken.
I don't like meat.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes I have fish or eggs,
Sometimes I have fish or eggs.
but I never eat chicken or beef.
So, do you eat a lot of vegetables?
Yes.
Do you eat a lot of vegetables?
Carrots are my favorite. I often have some in the afternoon for a snack.
I often have some in the afternoon for a snack. Snack is something you eat between your main meals. Between breakfast and lunch, snack. Between lunch and dinner, snack. Okay? So, now as extra speaking practice, you could give your answer about these things. For example, do you like noodles? Sample response. For example, my response is, yeah, I like noodles very much, and I usually have them for dinner. So about 2 times or 3 times a week I have noodles. Chicken. Do you like? Even you can answer these questions for a he or a she in order to practice your third singular responses as well. For example, does your father like chicken? And your answer? Yes, he likes chicken. He usually has chicken for lunch, maybe once or twice a week, and sometimes he has chicken for dinner with his salad. Fish. Does your mother like fish? Yes, she does. She likes fish very much, so we usually have fish once a week or maybe more than that. And all of these you can ask and answer questions for yourself, for other people to practice third person singular. I hope you're good with that exercise, and now let's go to exercise 9. Again, more speaking. Mealtime survey. So what is survey? Survey is going to people and asking their opinion about something. For example, do you eat carrots in the afternoon? What about you? What about you? And that is called a survey. Mealtime habits. Mealtime survey. Meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mealtime. So these are the questions. Have I got anything here? Okay, so extra speaking, yes, we got, but for the time being, it's here. Do you always have a big breakfast? Please pause the video and give your answer. My answer to this, yes, I usually have a very big and substantial breakfast. I think breakfast is important to good health. Substantial breakfast, a very big breakfast, and the translation in Persian, صبحانه مفصل. Okay, I usually have a substantial breakfast, and that includes 1 egg, some bread in honey, and sometimes I go for peanut butter on my toast, and maybe sometimes I choose cheese and walnut for my breakfast. Okay, this is a sample response. What time do you usually have lunch? Please pause the video and give your answer. I usually have lunch at around 2 o'clock, and that is the time, for example, my family comes back home and we get together. Okay, what do you usually have for lunch? What? Your answer? My response to that, I usually have something like chicken based or meat based for lunch, and that is the reason because in the morning I go to work, so for the lunch I am hungry and I like to have something big. Do you often have snacks in the afternoon? Your answer? My answer, yes, I do. I usually have some fruit in the afternoon at around 5 o'clock, and my top favorites depend on the season, but I usually have some apples, maybe some oranges, and some pomegranates. Very delicious. Pomegranates. I don't know, it's among the strange fruits of the world, and I don't know everyone knows about it or not, but Iranian people die for it. Pomegranates, very delicious. Yes. Okay. Question 5. Do you ever go to the restaurant for dinner? Your answer? My answer. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, and that happens usually in, for example, on weekends. Why? Because during the week I am busy and I don't have the time for it. But on the weekend, me and my family usually go to a restaurant and eat something light. Question 6. What's something you never eat for dinner? Your answer? My answer. For dinner, something I never eat, I haven't thought about it, but for example, for dinner, I myself never have rice. I think it is so heavy and I cannot have good night's sleep. For dinner, I usually go with something light. And your answer you can give for improving your speaking. So this was a good practice for improving our speaking about mealtime. And finally, the reading of the unit, exercise 11. So if you look at the picture, you can see it is mostly about food. Okay? Can you guess what's happening in this picture? It's not that clear unless you're Spanish, but let's listen and see what it is.
Page 64. Exercise 2. Conversation. Unit 11. I'm going...
What happened? It says track 40.
Page 63. Exercise 11. Reading. It's a food festival.
Okay, so because of the better quality, I have it typed here. It's a food festival. Here you can see it better. See?
La Tomatina. People usually eat tomatoes, but once a year in Buñol, Spain, people just throw them. Yes, that's correct. The whole town of Buñol has a giant tomato fight. It's very messy. By the end of the day, there are squashed tomatoes all over town. In fact, there are 120 tons of squashed tomatoes.
Wow, La Tomatina. It sounds so beautifully. So it says people usually eat tomatoes, but once a year in Buñol, Spain, people just throw them. Yes, that's correct. The whole town of Buñol has a giant, which means very big, tomato fight. So they fight with tomatoes. They throw tomatoes at each other. It's very messy. Messy means not in place, means dirty, means everything is disorganized. Messy. If you want, it reminds me of the soccer player, Messi. Messi. If I go just with Messi, I guess the soccer player comes? No. So this one is the messy room. Messy means disorganized, yeah? By the end of the day, there are squashed tomatoes all over the town. Squashed tomatoes. Squashed means beaten. Squashed. If you understand what exactly words are, you need to see them. Squashed tomatoes. This is squashed tomatoes. Squashed. See? The city is full of squashed tomatoes by the end of the day. In fact, actually, there are 120 tons of squashed tomatoes. 120 tons of squashed tomatoes. Okay? You got it? Good. Just for the sake of some grammar practice, people usually eat tomatoes. Yes, no question? Do people usually eat tomatoes? And people throw them. Yes, no question. Do they throw them? Do they throw them? Very good. And there are squashed tomatoes all over the town. Yes, no question. Are there squashed tomatoes all over town? Very good. And again, this one. There are 120 tons of squash tomatoes. Are there 120 tons? And how many tons of squash tomatoes are there? How many tons of squash tomatoes are there? Okay, good. Garlic festival.
Garlic festival. All over the world, people use garlic in their cooking. Some people in California in the US really like garlic. They like it so much that every year they celebrate it with a garlic festival. You can taste garlic in everything you can think of. There's even garlic ice cream and garlic popcorn.
So, garlic festival and everything with garlic in California. For the sake of vocabulary, let's read it. It says, all over the world, people use garlic in their cooking. Some people in California, in the United States, the US, for US we say the US, the UK, really like garlic. They like it so much that every year they celebrate it with a garlic festival. Garlic festival. You can taste garlic in everything you can think of. There's even garlic ice cream and garlic popcorn. I don't know how it might taste, but for the sake of grammar, please ask me a yes/no question. People use garlic in their cooking. Yes, no? Do people use garlic in their cooking? Good. Some people in California really like garlic. They like it so much that every year they celebrate with garlic festival. You can taste garlic. Please ask a yes/no for this one. You can taste garlic in everything. Can you? Can you taste garlic in everything? Very good. There is garlic in ice cream. Question? Is there garlic in ice cream? Okay, very good. And the third one, good for monkeys.
Monkey Buffet Festival.
Monkey Buffet Festival. Let's see.
There's something very interesting about this food festival. It's not for people. It's for monkeys. In Lopburi, Thailand, people bring all kinds of different fruits and leave them out for the monkeys to eat. They bring pineapples, apples, mangoes, and bananas, of course. It's the people's way of saying thank you to the monkeys. That's because tourists come to see the monkeys, and that helps the people's businesses. Isn't that cool?
Good. So it's good to thank anyone who does something for you. Even monkeys, they bring tourists, so why not thank them? So it could be your parents, it could be your friend, it could be the grocery store just across the street you buy things from. It could be the taxi driver who drives you to school, to work, or whatever. We should thank people for what they do for us. Anyway, a bit of moral stories. It says there is something very interesting about this food festival. It's not for people, it's for monkeys in Lopburi, Thailand. People bring all kinds of different fruits and leave them out for monkeys to eat. They bring pineapples, apples, mangoes, and bananas, of course. It's people's way of saying thank you to the monkeys. It is people's way, apostrophe S. People's a possessive. Saying thank you to the monkeys. That's because tourists come to see the monkeys, and that helps people's business. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So some grammar practice here. And it's not for people, it's for monkeys. It's for monkeys. Yes, no? Is it for monkeys? People bring all kind of different fruits. Yes, no. Do people bring all kind of different fruits? Good. Leave them out for monkeys. Do they leave them out for monkeys? They bring pineapples, apples, and mangoes. Please ask me what? What? Good. What do they bring? They bring pineapples, apples, and mangoes. Very good. People's way of thanking monkeys, because tourists come to see monkeys. Okay, finished. Bread for the dead. It must be from Mexico.
Bread for the Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead is a very important day in Mexico. Many people celebrate their family members and friends by baking special bread. They make bread in the shape of humans, flowers, bones, and animals. The bread is sweet, and sometimes it has anise seeds or orange in it.
Okay, so the day of the bread and the day of the dead, in bread for that, pan de morto. The day of the dead is a very important day in Mexico. No new word. They celebrate it with family members. Celebrate. So you usually celebrate something for which you're happy. Celebrate your birthday, celebrate your wedding, and friends, and baking special bread. They make bread in the shape of humans, flowers, bones, and animals. The bread is sweet, and sometimes it has anise seeds or orange in it. So anise seeds, what is it? It is a kind of seed. It's not that important. Yeah, it's a kind of seed they use in their bread. So for the sake of grammar, Day of the Dead is very important in Mexico. Day. So is it very important? People celebrate their family members. Yes, no. Do people celebrate their family members? Good. They make bread in the shape of humans. Yes, no. Do they make bread in the shape of humans? Or what shape do they make the bread? What shape do they make the bread? In the shape of humans, flowers, bones, and animals. The bread is sweet. Yes, no. Is the bread sweet? And what? What taste is the bread? It is sweet. Sometimes there's anise seed in it and orange in it. Okay, that's good. So this was our reading. We read it all. We talked about its words and we talked about its grammar. So some questions in part B. I think that's not that big deal for us, but for the grammar part we did. Part C. Do you eat any special food at your celebrations? So I imagine that someone from Mongolia is answering this question and says, yes, in Mongolia we celebrate with traditional foods like, I hope I pronounced the words correctly, like buzz, dumplings, and kusher, fried meat pastry. During Nadam festival, erag, or fermented mare's milk, mare means horse milk, is popular. These dishes are enjoyed with family and friends, making our celebration special. So this was some sample response from, for example, Mongolia. You can give the same sample response for your country if you eat any special food at your celebration. And that marks the end of this unit. So, as a review on what we covered today, we talked about different edible things in the category of fruits, vegetables, grains, meat and other proteins, dairy and things. We had a lot of vocabulary related to them. We talked about which ones we like, which ones we don't like, our favorite things. Conversation, we talked about it, which somehow told us what the grammar is about. In the grammar, we talked about a very important point, which was count and non-count nouns, the use of some and any. I told you that some is used in positive, any in negatives and questions. Here we talked about count nouns and non-count noun examples of the previous page also. And in the pronunciation, the most important words of the sentence carry more stress, of course. Snapshot, we talked about breakfast around the world, 3 different breakfasts, and also you talked about your favorite type of breakfast every day. Conversation about a Japanese family and what they have for breakfast, inviting someone else also. Grammar focus, talking about adverbs of frequency. I told you that adverbs of frequency go before the main verb. They go after a to-be verb with their percentages. In the listening, we talked about these things, how often we eat these things. Speaking part about our mealtime habits. And the reading part about different countries. Yes. Okay, that's all what we talked about today. And in this word file, if there is anything worthy of mentioning, in here we talked about the difference between dairy, which is milk-driven products, and diary, which is your notebook of memories. We had a lot of speaking. I told you about depending on, every other week, which means this week yes, next week no. It could be also every other day. As for, which means about something, healthy food, unhealthy food, we talked about. Conversation, we talked about it. Fattening, something making you fat. Count and non-count nouns, we talked about some examples here. Examples of some or any that we had. In the snapshot, we talked about 4 major tastes that we have. Sour, salty, sweet, and bitter. We talked about it. And about the breakfast, that what you have. Here in the conversation, we talked about the difference between eat and have. That was beautiful. Frequency adverbs, we talked about them with a lot of examples. Here, the percentage of frequency adverbs with loads of examples about them. In the listening part, speaking part, that I provide you the answers. And finally, in the reading part with all the words and things that we talked about. Okay? Lovely! Another session of Magic English also finished, talking about Unit 9 of Yellow Interchange. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope that you have developed your speaking with it. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and invite them to come and also subscribe to this channel and develop their speaking skill, among other skills. So please practice these videos and the ones before it. I will see you next session with another video. I hope you have a brilliant day ahead of yourself. Thank you and take good care. Bye.